Whenever you're ready.
Good morning. I'm trying not to be grumpy. Woo! For those of you who don't know me, my name's QuianaDenae Perkins, and I am so excited to start this fun, funny, lively episode of Church of the Larger Fellowship VUU. We have so many great folks with us here today. I started out as Bernie because we need laughter. We need it so bad. We are begging and praying for it. And so I, being the fashion trender that I am, already had a pair of Bernies. Thank you, $5 store in downtown Ann Arbor. And can't sell them though, because there's a big hole, and that's my friend. So we're gonna check in, say hello, and then get the laughter started. Again, my name is QuianaDenae Perkins. I am here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I think it might be cold outside. I don't know because I don't want to know. It's there's nothing falling from the sky and there's no sun in it. So I'm gonna pass it to my friend Aisha.
I was cracking. So for the VUU viewers who just came on, I was actually off camera for a minute. I had to run and do something and came back and I saw Bernie. I was like, oh, look, Bernie's at the VUU. I'm Aisha Hauser. I'm in Seattle already cracking up. I'm laughter as catharsis is so important. It is raining because that's what happens here in Seattle. And so I have a new rescue. she looks like a Great Dane put in the dryer, or my daughter calls her a skinny cow. She's part Akita. She's white with black stripes, not stripes, black spots. And I bought her a raincoat. I'm one of those people. I'm like, this looks ridiculous, but I'll tell you why. She's a big dog. I do not want to wipe that all off. It takes a long time. So I allow her on the furniture. So I now walk around my Seattle neighborhood in the rain with a dog with a raincoat on, which is completely, and I used to make fun of those people, and now I'm one of those people. See, don't make fun of people. You're going to turn into one of those people. Michael, Tino, how are you?
Good day, dear viewers of the VUU. It is good to be with you. I'm here in Peekskill, New York, a little bit north of New York City, where it is a bright, crystal clear blue sky winter day and about to be 6 degrees, because that's what happens when there are no clouds to keep the heat in the earth. So we're preparing to drip our faucets and do all those things, because that's what one does when one owns a 110-year-old house and it is 6 degrees overnight. But life is good. Life is okay. First grade is happening 6 feet in that direction. So if you hear child noises, that is what it is. Life is okay. Don Fortune, how are you today?
I am okay. I'm Don Fortune. I am here in South Jersey in, like I said, the little town of Egg Harbor City, which has neither eggs nor harbor nor a discernible city that I have yet to find. I have no idea how cold it's outside, but it's January and it looks cold. I went out to get a paper, but get my paper off the porch, but that was before I was awake, so I have no idea how cold it was. And so I'm supposed to reference the person behind the chalice over here, and crap on a stick. I just completely had a senior moment. Remind me this wonderful person's name. It comes up as Elliot for me, and that's not right.
Tanner.
Oh my God! Right? Okay. Those brain cells are right. I'm sorry, Tanner.
Tanner, one, we love you and you know that. But two, I love that you just had this moment and we all let you have it and embrace it. You know what? Sometimes it's okay not to interrupt. We waited for you to ask for help. That was so you of all of us. We were like, let them have their moment. Let us wait. It was very beautiful. Thank you for being honest that you couldn't remember. It makes me feel.
Oh yeah, it's also being 56. Yeah, words 56 and month 12 locked in the house with my cats and my dog, and so words are not a thing I use that often except when I type. So anyway, do I get to introduce our guest?
Please.
To do that? Okay, so rescuing us from oh God, we need a topic today. is my friend and colleague, Reverend Amy Petrie Shaw. Amy is one of those delightfully brilliant people who can see the ridiculous in the mundane, and to be fair, has had a life experience of enough ridiculous and mundane to amass a good supply of stories. And Amy has a deranged cat named Dippy, who features, oh, Aisha's making faces. Honey, you don't know the cat. Oh, the cat. So Dippy doesn't know how to cat terribly well. And Amy tells remarkably funny stories about the poor cat who got dropped on her head when she was little. No, legit for real. Anyway, I want to welcome today to the show the person who rescued us from ourselves and is going to bring us laughter. That's it. You're on the line now. You have to make us laugh. Reverend Amy Petrie Shaw, who's in Des Moines, Iowa. Tell us how things are in Des Moines, Amy. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. At least I'm saying thank you now. I may be chasing you around with a stick later, Dawn, just letting you know. Things in Iowa are amazingly freaking cold. It's Iowa, it's Iowa. It's 13 degrees. I would have gone out to get the paper, but I would have frozen going out. I'm from the South, so I think anything below 30 degrees is like the end of all humanity. So I still have not adjusted after 6 years in Wisconsin, and this will be my second year here. I am still not adjusted to the chill. But thank you all so much for inviting me to be here. Even as Dawn says, if it was, that's a rescue attempt because you needed somebody to fill. I love it. I am the owner of the Dippy Cat, or at least the co-conspirator. For those of you who have not been lucky or unlucky enough to read the Tao of the Dippy Cat, Dippy is her own special kind of dangerous. And she's a very real cat. You saw her walk through a little while ago. And I love talking about the horror that is Dippy. So I am glad to be here, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So we're gonna wing through this together.
You're in the right place. Oh, good. Do we want to do check-ins? What's going on in UU world? QuianaDenae, you always have important things to remind us of.
I appreciate that. I thank you. That's really cute. It's really admirable. I think you're right. I think I do. And when I don't, I'm like, oh man. So no, I'm just like, no, I've kind of checked out on UU right now.
Okay.
I just am. But if anything, I guess the pulse of my little UU world is planting Blueberries, which is a Blues Black Unitarian Universalist youth space. And we're going to do, we've really been leaning into accessibility. And so instead of doing vision boards, we're doing dream boards. And I'm actually making sure that there's a version that is just paper-based, that folks don't need a lot of supplies, so that if you don't have a big piece of cardboard and glitter and scissors and magazines, you can still engage. So really thinking a lot about accessibility on many levels is something that's in my head and my heart right now. And I spent the morning trying to find a song that was age appropriate. And I'm really excited, and I heard it like 6 times. So our song of the week is going to be Level Up, Level Up, Level Up, Level Up, because dream boards are all about digging into like, what do you want to do and how do you want to go to your next? And so that's what I'm really excited about right now. I'm also, I guess, preach on the side if you need a guest preacher. I'm here for you. And email me, that's no joke. I will guest preach for your life. And I've been pulling together a sermon and putting together the songs and all the pieces. And y'all really get paid for a lot. I just want to say this is hard work. And those are the things that are cracking in Kiana's world, QuianaDenae's little part of the heaven. What are other folks? What's popping in your worlds?
I don't know. I feel like I want an executive order to free the babies like tomorrow. And I know, like, I did a Facebook post on it, and Biden signed there's a task force, blah, blah, flip and blah. No, we need to tomorrow, like today, the National Guard needs to go. kind of like disaster relief, right? Put them up in hotels because they're half empty because of COVID. Give the babies beds, no more foil blankets. Like it's been on my mind, like, okay, we're at least not having an abuser, but that's really been on my mind. And I don't know how to fix it. I'm like, driving to the border with my skinny cow dog is not going to do anything. So I have to remind myself of that. And that's not UU world, but I don't know where, and none of this is funny, obviously, but it feels like that should, I don't know what other priority there, but although I did hear somebody said Dr. Jill Biden is leading that. She will never be anything other now, thanks to that doofus who wrote in that ridiculous paper. Dr. Jill Biden is heading this task force. So anyway, that's what's been on my mind. And it feels like a UU imperative that we name it. They've never, family separations, probably because and I've said this before on the show, I came in my mother's arms to this country, and there, but by the grace of God, that wackadoo Nixon, who had other issues, thankfully was going after the Democrats, we didn't get separated. So I mean, we're always a heartbeat away, right? So I don't know, that's me. Did I even answer your question, Bernie, today, Quiana?
So, I'm in a very similar space that I'm sure that there are things happening in Unitarian Universalism, and what are they? It's really good. So we do know that there is a conference happening on Saturday, February 27th, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time, 12 to 9 p.m. Eastern time, called New Day Rising, and it's actually helping congregations take next steps in changing white supremacy culture, confronting and dismantling white supremacy culture. It's based on some conferences that have happened here at least in the Central East region, and possibly in other parts of the country. But this is going to be a national New Day Rising conference, and it's for people to like share ideas and have a space to lift up ways in which congregations have successfully confronted white supremacy culture. And so that's going on, right? Side of Love, 30 Days of Love, happening now in congregations near you. I have to say, the UUA, a year into the pandemic, has finally understood that if they want something to get out to congregations, create a worship service and offer it to congregations, because we are like desperate for worship elements all over the country, videos and music and reflections and stories. We're all so tired of making them. So it is such a blessing that some of them are coming from Boston, and apparently there's one coming from the UU Ministry for the Earth too. So hopefully your congregations will have some high quality worship elements to use to use soon. That's what I know is going on.
Is anyone doing the 30 Days of Love? I'm not. I mean, I love every day. I'm not. So
what I'm doing is I'm already in the middle of Girl Trek, and we're on like day 12 or 13. So what I've done is load them all up and prepped them to start actually February 15th and to go till March 15th. So it's just more like I already had a different daily kind of tool in place. So I like that they're all available right now. I think I took my pen out to be spotlighted. I'm sorry. So I have them in place, and we'll start them, and we'll probably watch the service on the 14th of February. But it's just, it's got to get in the queue. I wasn't ready for when it started. So, but I am really excited, and I love, it's kind of like pick your own adventure, which is really beautiful. If you guys haven't seen it yet, just this idea, like if you're a multi-generational family, you're, solo, if you're a youth, there's different ways to engage with materials. And I really respect the way that they've set it up so that folks can engage it in bite sizes. And it's really tangible and easy. So I'm actually really looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to doing it when my mind and my heart aren't so overwhelmed and I've made time just for it.
It's also organized on topics that are faithful to the Commission on Institutional Changes report, so I'm using pieces of it as I'm talking about the things in that report and the things that the commission has asked us to do in our congregation. So we're going to be talking about reparations in the bricks and mortar congregation I serve here in New York, and I can use elements that the Side with Love folks have put together to support the Commission on Institutional Changes recommendations on reparations. They have stories and they have videos and they have elements that support that. And so I appreciate that it's faithful to those recommendations.
So Reverend Amy, I want to pull you into this conversation a little bit. What's hot in Iowa? What's hot in Iowa? That's comedy right there. What is hot in Iowa?
Nothing. No, I'm excited because we are doing the service on the 21st. We can't do it on the 14th, so we are excited about that. We just finished 12-week study on widening the circle of concern. Great participation. People were listening and reading and thinking through, and really cool, correcting any misconceptions they had originally had about what that was trying to talk to us about. And so we're getting ready to start Side with Love, and I think it's going to be pretty exciting. That is not something we've this is a new experience for a lot of people, and people are really engaged. So I'm looking forward to getting deeper into some of the training and looking at how does this work here in Iowa? What does that look like here? And, you know, we've got an amazing Latinx community all around us that we're partnered with and doing just some righteously cool work with. So I'm looking at how this unpacks and unfolds here. So that's the only thing that is hot in Iowa right now.
Nice. Well, I know that your good friend Don invited you, and Don's been chilling in the background. But if you could tell our listening audience a little bit about your journey to cat motherhood, cat parenthood.
That's an awful journey. Seriously. So we had someone staying with us, and she came in the door and she had her cat under her arm, and I could see this tote that she's got. And I said, so what's in the tote? She takes the lid off and dumps this out in the middle of my living room. And it looked like a tribble with some kind of deficit because it just sort of rolled over. And I said, what is that? And it got up and it hopped across the living room, and then it just fell over again. And she said, well, it's a cat, obviously. No, there's no obvious about this. What in the name of God is this thing? So it's this kitten that somebody had thrown away at 3 days old. So these girls rescued the kitten, but in their great wisdom, kittens are loud. So they had it in a Tupperware tote, and every time it got too loud, they put the lid on. So I've got this kitten that—
Was that before or after they blew pot smoke at it?
They had been hotboxing the car. So this cat has been exposed to literally all the weed in the universe and anoxia. So this cat has about 3 brain cells that work and never in alignment. And my husband at the time was very, very British, and he hates animals. He watches this cat hop across the living room. He says, it's a bowl of filth and fur. I said, no, it's a cat for real. And a few hours later, I heard this noise in the living room, and it was something like, and there'd be a pause, and then I'd hear. And so I came running in, and my husband is sitting there, and he's looking up at the little chandelier thing, and this cat is on the floor. And about every 15 seconds, she would attempt to attack the chandelier, which is 12 feet straight up. So she'd hop and come back down and then sit there for a minute, and then she'd attempt to attack the chandelier again. So I asked our guest, I said, what is this thing's name? She said, Big Dipper. I said, oh, hell no, it's not. try again, sister. And I said, what, what is this cat's name? She said, okay. I actually named it Dipshit. And I said, okay, that's closer. Let's go with Dippy Cat. So
Why does the cat think it's a bunny? Why does it keep hopping?
It's not good with getting all four legs coordinated at the same time.
Oh.
I have worked with her, in real life as a special needs pet parent. She's dear to my heart. I'm deaf or vastly hard of hearing. So she's dear to my heart because Dippy never quits. Dippy just keeps trying. Dippy is going to go after the world on her terms. Her terms may be written in Sanskrit and translated by somebody who doesn't speak that language, but at least she wrote her terms down. She is going after life on her terms, and she never quits. And she always wins, man. You cannot beat Dippy.
Mm.
You do. And the other cat was around here somewhere. Poor little Nikki just oozes around corners to stay away from her. But Dippy is hysterical. She is absolutely hysterical. The amount of care she does not give is epic.
Mm.
And when I first started writing about Dippy, it was at Christmas where it really took off. We had...
That's when she got a credit card.
Yeah, thanks. We're putting together these wireframe reindeer things. You know the ones I'm talking about that go in your front yard? Got the tinsel all wrapped around them and all that. So I get it out of the box and I'm setting this thing up, and whatever lunatic built this thing, it's got a scarf around its neck. You're supposed to have 6 pieces of tape. You got to cut the little tape, put the little scarf around its neck and stick it. Cut the tape, lay it on the floor. My phone rings. I go to answer it. I come back. The tape is gone. There is no tape. Dippy is laying there looking really suspicious, but there is no tape. I poke, I prod, I put the scarf on with the 3 pieces of tape that I had already stuck on it, get it on there. Dippy gets up, the tape is stuck to her. So it's all under the underside of this cat. So I go to try to get it off of her, and the scarf is dangling because there's only 3 pieces of tape on it. And she sees it waving. And she leaps for this reindeer, which is about this big, and Dippy is about this big. She's got 2-sided tape stuck to the entire bottom of her. So when she leaps at this reindeer, she sticks.
No.
Falls through this reindeer, and she is stuck to it with 6 pieces of double-sided tape, and now she cannot get off except for her bottom feet. She lets out this scream and takes off running, attached to an entire reindeer in a 2-story house. So I have got this cat screaming top of her lungs. She's running. One arm is stuck to the reindeer. Part of her side is stuck to the reindeer. So it looks like I have a reindeer on its side skiing through the house with this screaming cat. This is an open weave reindeer. So every time we run over something, she's picking up stuff as she goes. Next time she comes back through, it's trailing the lights. It looks like it's been eviscerated.
Oh my God.
She had run over my dustpan and my little broom, so it's sticking out of this reindeer. She is screaming. She's stuck in it. I can't catch her.
Is this an advertisement for 3M tape? Is this an advertisement for this?
She ran across the Christmas tree, caught up one of these little ornament things that plays Christmas music. Now she's playing songs, and she's running. She goes up the daggone steps. I heard her run up the steps, heard her scream. My husband goes chasing her. I heard one last rah! And next thing I know, here he comes with a cat under one arm. I said, "Where'd the reindeer go?" He, "Don't ask." Don't ask. Just walks away. So that was my Christmas with Dippy. And then a bunch of lunatics that I know, one of whom may be two of whom are in my presence at the moment, Michael Tino and Don Fortune. I'm sitting at home on a cold night a couple years later, and I have been writing steadily about all the things Dippy was doing. And there's a knock on my door. It's a delivery guy, and it's a cookie jar. I didn't order a cookie jar. It's an ugly cookie jar. I have no idea where this came from. It's a mistake. And Brian said, well, maybe. My husband at the time said, maybe because you posted the other day about us arguing about what cookie jar to buy. I said, maybe. Maybe somebody screwed up, thought I needed one. But man, this is one ugly cookie jar. It was the start of an avalanche. Every day for the next 8 days, cookie jars are arriving. And each one of them is labeled with love from Dippy. With love from Dippy. I got a naked mooning gnome. I got the Walking Dead. I got the TARDIS. I got a T-Rex, a bear dressed up in a snowsuit with a bird, doggies with cookie. I mean, and they just kept, we'd be sitting at home hiding behind the couch and the doorbell ring. It's another cookie jar. Love from Dippy. The cat has gotten a credit card somehow. The next thing I see, I get a letter. It's from the Russians. They claim to be working with Dippy. I look up.
You have to remember this is Christmas time 2016.
Yeah, so these are hitting my house like crazy. The next day, I get a Russian Yushchenko hat, Dippy sized. Her comrades have sold her out. She's been working with the Russians.
So I'm going to pause you, right? Because I want to hear Don and Michael. I want you to jump in because some part of the story is yours.
Yeah, this is Dawn. This is where Dawn's fortune takes off. Go for it, Fortune.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
No earthly clue whatsoever.
No.
Oh my gosh. I think you guys have
I'm gonna jump in here. Here's what I love about this. Love. Is that because the thing that has been a little bit of a pet peeve for me with Unitarian Universalists, because about, I don't know, close to now 2 decades ago, I did my first sermon, which was kind of terrible, but funny, but I was funny. But the thing is about humor and I could feel it in my body, just how relaxed I feel from having that incredibly great laugh. I had not read the Dippy story. I'm glad now I didn't read it because that was just beautifully told and hilarious. But I love, Dawn and Michael, that your care for your friend and colleague was, we are going to take this next level and we are going to out Dippy. And it was, I love getting surprised. This year, I've been super blessed. I mean, it's happened over the years, but this year, and I really needed a personal thing going on, but that I got surprises in the mail and it touches the heart. And to have it be so clever and funny and just next level, it's beautiful. It's a gift. And I think UUs need to learn to laugh, the spiritual practice of laughter, and that it's just as important as kind of bullshit academic elitism. So I kudos to Dawn and Michael who are disavowing. It's like, I don't know if any of you watched the old Mission Impossible where the envelope would poof, like, we're going to pretend we don't know anything about this. But you've been outed. We all know you're on the VUU, and now this is going to be, for millions.
So I think we can publicly say that there are a group of people who have fallen under the spell of Dippy, and who do her bidding regularly when
minions.
And they're
minions.
They're known as the Dippy Minions, and the Dippy Minions sometimes will play jokes on Amy, because Amy turns those jokes into comedy gold that last for years and years and years. But most of what we do,
like herpes,
is find out that someone is having a rough time and send them really tiny little things to cheer them up and not get credit for it, because everything is signed Love Dippy. And so someone might get 3 or 4 little packages of, you know, whatever, lipstick or
Glitter or nail
glitter or
polish
something, and it's just signed Love Dippy.
There's usually a glitter theme.
The things that Dippy has, you send maybe.
Yeah, it's not going to my house. I'll send glitter. Sure.
I do not believe in glitter.
It's been
You are like, you just lost gay man points, Michael. You just lost gay man points that you don't like.
Quite all
I
right.
have a seminary professor who carries emergency glitter in his car.
I believe in glitter only for my enemies, not for my beloveds.
That's a good rule of thumb. So we don't want to, Amy, we want to hear, Reverend Amy, we want to hear the end of your story. We jumped in because I wanted to make sure the culprits of Love Dippy got some ribbing. But so you were in the middle of a story before I interrupted you, friend.
You're good. It's been awesome because they did out themselves. And the Dippy Minions got formed. And like Michael just said, they have been in action ever since. I know I personally have sent someone a disco ball and a mermaid blanket. And, you know, it's always with love from Dippy. So if you want to ever be a Dippy Minion, talk to Don or Michael. And that has been awesome. But the downside is that I still live with freaking Dippy. So
And you keep getting weird shit in the mail.
Yeah, after surviving the first year, which included one cookie jar that Dippy actually picked a fight with and lost. She got so scared of the teddy bear one, she jumped it. And she's up on the counter fighting and rolling with this cookie jar. And next thing I know, the entire cookie jar comes off the counter with Dippy, and it just crashes. And I see her land, and then the head goes rolling off and lands on her. And so for a minute, I was about 4 feet away, and I turned and looked. For a minute, it's hysterical. There is this splort of cat laying on the floor, just like, and this head has landed on top of her head. I mean, not on her head, but on top of her. And so all you can see is this bare head in a hoodie, and then her body. And I'm too hysterical to save her. She's never forgiven me. But I survived the first year. I survived 32 cookie jars.
Wow.
I have an auction to get rid of some of them, kept some of them. That was marvelous. So a whole year goes by and I'm thinking I'm safe. They sent jelly the next year. The weirdest.
Weird jelly. Garlic jelly. Jalapeno jelly. Wasn't there like dirt jelly or something? It was just
weird jellies. Don't harsh on weird jellies. I love jalapeno jelly.
I do too, actually.
No, I do too. I do.
The one that nearly got me killed was the quince jelly because it never occurred to us that Dippy liked quince. So I opened this jelly jar sitting at the table. I'm already cussing because I've got a table full of garlic jelly and frog jam, and it probably was you, Tino. I'll get you for that. I opened this jar of quince jam. It had never occurred to me that a cat might like quince. And the next thing I know, I have got this entire hate-filled ball of cat in my lap, and she's got her head and one foot in this jelly. And I'm trying to get her pried out of the jelly. She's fighting me for the jelly. She decides.
And now she's sticky.
Now she's sticky. Of course, Dippy requested it. Now she's sticky. She gets up and decides she's going to try to back me in the corner. Except my now ex-husband was in front of me. So I've got this jam-covered cat swinging wildly at my husband, smelling like a quince, and trying to eat jam with her other paw out of the jar as fast as she can. Now she's on a sugar high.
Wow.
3 hours to get that cat corralled. It was if you ever get a copy of the Dippy book, there's the great story in there about it. We ended up behind the couch trying not to be grabbed by the cat. It was amazing. Now Now, I thought I was safe. Mind you, I've moved to Des Moines. I've taken the cat with me. I've divorced the husband.
Well, that's your problem right there. You took the cat with you.
True enough. I thought I was safe. And this year, Nancy and I were sitting in the living room. I live with some beloved friends here. And we were sitting in the living room and the doorbell rings. And what the heck? Put my mask on, go to look. No clue. I didn't order anything. She didn't order anything. Walk out, get it, slit open the package, take it into the our wet dry room we used to let things age for a bit. Open it up, and it is this heinous set of bunnies with glow LED eyes. I'm like, no. We are still getting stuff. The last one came in yesterday, Dawn Fortune. We have an entire kitchen at this point full of the weirdest garden ornaments you'd ever want to see. Some of them are actually behind me on the shelf over there. I got a cat and a monkey eating lawn gnomes that came with this bunch. So the newest batch of Dippy stories are in process of being written. And it's terrifying, but the Dippy minions are still out there and functional. And Dippy loves...
I think functional might be a generous term, but...
Dysfunctional as usual. Let's go with that.
And so to pull us all back together, because I don't even like cats. I just want to be really clear about that. I don't like I'm allergic to them, and cats freak me out because they don't care. Dogs, if you say stop, dogs will be like, wait a minute, you feed me, I'm gonna not. Cats don't care. Cats don't care. You're going to still feed me if I scratch you today. You're going to feed me if I bite you tonight. You're going to take my litter box.
Dippy cares less than most cats.
Yeah.
So my love for cats is like as long as you stay over there and I stay here, we're good. So, but I want to bring us back around to the use of humor. And Aisha, you used the term earlier that I appreciate, the practice of humor, that it becomes a daily practice. So outside of Dippy, which I think is bringing us all much joy, where are the places you are finding joy and laughter? I'm going to come to Michael Tino, like 24 hours into Bernie. Remember, I thought my Bernies. You were like, I'm done with this. But I said, what did I say to you? I said, it tells me how much brevity we need. It is telling me how much laughter we need. And I wish I had a little yellow folder. I must have put it up. I could have sat here with my yellow folder, really Bernied it up. But so I just tossed the floor to Michael or Aisha to really, where else are you finding joy? What's making you laugh? Where are we doing the daily practice of laughter?
Well, for me, I have to find joy because I feel a stress release in my body when I laugh. And I find things funny. So I have a dog, and she has a little bit of a cat personality. Like, I've never had a dog who's picky with food, and she'll literally like turn her face and be like, I don't know what you're trying to give me right now. And I'm like, what? How are you? And she's very so she's a daily, and I just talk to her all day, and it's very, she has expressions, and so it's very cute. But I try to just have that. It feels like exercise, like mental exercise. It's like things can be so heavy. Like I could cry thinking about certain things, right? Both, grieving, not just what's going on nationally in the world, but even in my life, but then it's like something funny will happen, or I will notice something funny, and then I have to, it's giving ourselves permission. And I will say, and I hope especially our three parish ministers here, I do think there's a prejudice, and I say that word intentionally, against humor in our worships. And when we've I was about to say I'm a naturally funny person. That's a ridiculous thing to say, but I tend to, when I do a service, Todd's saying yes.
Have you met you?
Huh?
Have you met you?
Have I met you? So I will. And then I realize, like, there's something about me showing up and cracking a joke or even in a sermon, and people like discount the part that wasn't funny, or the part that was serious or said something impactful. And I think that's an elitism in our space, in our UU space, that the only thing that's valid is when it's not funny or when it's serious. And so I just want, it would be good to speak to that, because it is important that we don't forget that part of our humanity and expressing ourselves, yes, is to cry when we need to be angry, to feel the range of emotions. And laughter, science has shown how important laughter is for our bodies and our spirits, right? So I would love to hear, and I just looked up the Dippy book. So Reverend Amy Petrie Shaw, I'm buying that book. I hadn't already, so apologies that I already don't own it. But I'd love for the three of you to speak to that.
I think, the other thing that we ignore at our peril is the role of humor in actually addressing serious things or naming serious things. And one of the things I think Amy is really good at is that it's not, sometimes Dippy is funny just for Dippy's sake. But sometimes, like, there's something larger going on. Bernie was funny, and I kind of made fun of the fact that I thought Bernie had jumped the shark. Partially because I thought it was funny to think of Bernie jumping the shark. But Bernie was funny because we all have, like, this grumpy old man who's over it all, like, inside of us, and he was just, like, being it. Right there. So the fact that he showed up at all of our churches and, in front of our houses and, our family reunion pictures, it's like, yeah, like that energy is real. And if we can't laugh about it, we're just going to get more curmudgeonly and grumpy. So, there's something that humor does that lets us laugh at ourselves, that lets us, find joy in those moments too.
I think that's a big part of the way I approach ministry, though. All kidding aside for a minute, when I do my offering every week, it's the offering joke for the week. It's always funny. It's always silly. The only exception I make is for usually Easter. I do a more serious thing, but it's funny because I want humor positioned as something that we do. Because I think it is a classist structure. I think it's a racist structure because we don't come out of a tradition that, as in our Unitarian and Universalist roots that originally were funny. And we're not comfortable with it. And, I come from an area where the further south you get, the more likely you are to have pastors up there using a little bit of humor. And so I'm comfortable with it. So I love that. And I love doing that with Dippy. Like you said, Michael, a lot of the time, the stories about her, some of them are funny just because they're funny, but other times they're about dealing with really big, bad, scary stuff. And the point of the humor is always that Dippy wins. Dippy always wins.
Or at least survives.
Yeah.
Which is winning.
Rolls through it, swims through it, whatever she does to get through. But there's life on the other side, and she is absolutely unbowed, unbowed, unmessed up by whatever happened in between. Dippy doesn't care what you thought about it. She did it her way and got through it. And I think that's an awesome message to send to people. Do it your way.
I think Asia touched on something very, very key. And as with so much with Unitarian Universalism, I blame Channing. Because Channing was this absolutely uptight freak who was afraid of his feelings and afraid of his body, and was just like his retreat to safety was to exist only from the neck up, which is part of, and that thumbprint is on every part of Unitarianism, specifically, where if it involves embodied spirituality, it doesn't count because it's not smart enough. He sought to remove himself from his body, remove himself from his physical experience to have only mental things, only intellectual things. And this is broad brush. The Channing folks are going to come after me. I know it. But he really, he reminds me of Augustine.
I was going to say, if you don't want to blame Channing, blame Augustine.
Channing is the Unitarian Augustine, like afraid of his own dick and just like absolutely it's steeped in shame that he's trying to get away from, and anything that felt good was therefore sinful, were therefore in Channing's understanding less than. It wasn't smart enough. It wasn't all of that. So yeah, I blame Channing and Augustine pretty much for most things. Yeah, and Augustine was in fact afraid of his penis.
Evil sperm.
Yep. He was convinced that women controlled men's penises and that they were not within. Yeah. Oh yeah. Read his stuff. It's wacky.
Oh, okay. You just gave me a whole new assignment, like a whole new reading project. I also want to just.
I'll warn you, it's really, really boring with only little bits of humor in Augustine. Trust me.
Oh, I really appreciate Aisha's question to the three of you as parish ministers, but also as folks who have studied kind of UUism in its depth and kind of gotten your hands in the dirt a little bit. I also appreciate that because I don't have my hands in the dirt to know about anyone's penis at all. So it's good to not, I'm like, whoa, maybe I'll go read some UU erotica today. But I just think it's just such a good thing to remember how embodied the practice of laughter is, because you laugh in your belly, but it comes out your mouth. And so it takes it takes the whole upper part of your body to laugh, right? You can chuckle a little bit, but when you get that guttural laugh, when you get that thing that make you be like, let me put down this phone and really just have a moment, that's where it's at. And I think we forget to be in our bodies about our spiritual practice, about how we move, and realizing where things come from in our body and where things calm us down in our body, right? Aisha, you were talking a little bit about you can just feel yourself get calmer. And laughing, when I came on and there was laughter, I was like, okay, I wasn't going to be here, but I'm going to be here because I needed this laughter so bad. I needed the harmony that comes with a giggle. I need the head nods I see Don doing right now. But there's so much to it. It is not just the joke. It is the way that our bodies move. It's the way that our spirits move. It's the way that we loosen up. It's the way I know that I'm comfortable with you when I can make you laugh or tell a joke or say UU erotica, right? Like, what is that? Like, let's get into that because that could be really fun. So I just offer that.
No, it could not be. No, it could not be. No.
So yeah, I'm getting that full belly laugh. So this is an owl show. Thank you. And because it's owl, we could probably say a lot of things and still be in the parameter of owl. So we're at about 12:48. So I just want to be mindful of time and just as we come back around, what are things you're looking forward to? What is humor? What are things that are going to make you laugh in this coming season as we batten down for COVID year one? What are the things that are going to bring us joy? Where are we going to find it?
We all go silent.
I will say I actually did a whole service on the need to find laughter in our lives, and the reading in the service was an excerpt from the Tao of Dippy Cat because it was just ridiculous enough to make everyone laugh. And I think it was even before the election. It's like everything was so tense. Everything was so tense, and we were all so scared, and the second wave was starting, and we were all so anxious about everything, about breathing, about leaving our house, about like living, about the future of the country and the world and all of this stuff, and we needed to laugh. Um, and people did. People laughed with me because they were ready for it. Um, so I don't know where I'm going to
Yeah.
go next. I'm going on sabbatical next, so I'm not going to, be laughing with lots of folks. But
I think I think I need to do a humor service. I haven't done one in this place where I am now. The last time I did one was when Dippy started getting weird cookie jars, and I told that story, which my people loved. My people loved about the cookie jar stories. Um, and what happened with that was there was a small cohort of clergy friends who sort of had like watched for the bat signal, watched for the new Dippy story to drop, right? And we'd send out this sort of group text, Dippy, like there's a Dippy story. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We'd all go read because we desperately needed humor. We desperately needed to laugh. It was mid to late November 2016. It was grim. And for those of us who are queer clergy, it was terrifying. And I was on the phone with somebody and we were lamenting the lack of Dippy stories at one point. And I said to my friend, I said, you know what Amy needs? Amy needs a bunch of ugly ass cookie jars. And sure, that sounds like a good idea, but if we, like, she'd kill us both. She'd kill us both. So we said, well, maybe we could send them from Dippy. Oh, that's brilliant. But we need to have more than two. So our list of people that we recruited were picked solely on the criteria of, will they be mad if they found out about this and that they weren't invited? And so that's what we did. And it was, oh my God, like I haven't laughed that hard or needed to laugh that hard. In that time, it was just, we all needed to laugh. And this year, same thing. You know, we've come through the election. It's been sort of a cluster since then. We've had an insurrection. Things are rough, right? And we need to laugh. And it's that whole embodiment thing. It's that whole, like your whole body laughs. Oh, God, we need that. And so, yeah, I think I might be doing a Dippy Cat sermon at some point soon because my people, I think, need to laugh. I've got some seniors who are scared and they can't get their the vaccine. See, words are a problem. They can't get signed up for a vaccine. So yeah, I think we need to do a humor sermon pretty soon. Okay.
I think you just want to tell the story of Dippy eating the daggone butterflies you just sent me.
That was a funny story.
They sent butterflies on sticks to go in the garden. So of course Dippy eats them. And when you eat a butterfly about this big that's made out of little cloth polyester stuff, it doesn't dissolve. So
With
what
glitter.
happens is that
With
you
glitter.
butterflies being reborn. Yeah. So I spent 2 days following this cat around counting butterflies as they came out the other end because she ate them off the sticks. So the butterflies have been put away. I've got a story getting ready to drop because the black cat got one of the pink flamingos stuck on his head that they also sent. So he was running around the house with the pink flamingo, kind of like this, with Dippy chasing him. It was really awkward. You know, I think my sense of the absurd has been well honed over the years, and that's what I'm taking joy in right now, is the absurd little moments of life. And I heartily recommend, there's one going on right at this minute. Follow what's going on Reddit with buying the short stock. Follow it. It is the funniest form of protest you have ever seen. And it hits Wall Street in the wallet. So it is awesome and ridiculous to the nth.
Can you explain a little bit about that? Because I didn't understand anything about it before I looked at this thing.
So really quick.
I don't understand stocks at all.
Buying on short, it's like somebody else owns 10 shares of the stock. You borrow those 10 shares from them, you sell them at a markup, and then you pay back, you have to pay them back 10 shares of stock. Simple. Hedge funds use this all the time to buy large amounts, sell large amounts, pay back without a lot of their own money being at risk.
But it's essentially it's betting that the stock is going to go down.
Right. And sometimes it works. 90% of the time it works. This time they tried to drive the stock price down on GameStop, which is beloved by nerds and geeks world round. It's where we sell back our used games. And so Reddit picked it up that this was happening. They had essentially sold 140% of the shares available. And that you're not supposed to be able to do, but it happens all the time. And so Redditors and Imjurians bought up the stock while it was at $4 a share. They bought it and they're not letting go of it. So these hedge fund folk have got to come up with shares. And it's now at $400 a share, give take. So their bet that stock was going to go like this, instead, it has gone through the roof. And they're about to be out a lot of money, and they're now wailing for a bailout. All because a bunch of millennial smart alecks, boomer smart asses, and other general pains in the butt decided.
Gen X, don't forget Gen X. We always forget Gen X.
They're using the master's tools to dismantle the master's house, and the master was really not ready. He did not know his hammer was missing.
That's right. And we're laughing all over the place. We're holding that stock. Everybody that's got it is holding it and not letting go.
Nice.
But what happens? Does that hedge fund then have to pay the $400 a share?
Yes.
Yep.
If the Redditors want to sell it,
the
other folks have to buy it back because they owe somebody 140% of whatever. So they have to buy it back.
Exactly.
At $400 a pop when they paid like $3 a pop. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, and it's down to
That's
like $200 a share now, but still they paid $4 for it.
Right. So whenever it crests, Robinhood is starting to block people from selling. They were doing that this morning. But it's a pain in the butt for the hedge funds. Nobody's trying to overturn the world here. It's just funny. It's awesomely ridiculous.
I think it is overturning the world. It's now people, it's kind of like TikTok when they all over the world, screwed up a rally of he who shall not be named anymore because we don't have to. It is overturning the world. It's now saying, you know what? A-holes who control the world, oligarchs. Guess what? Guess who knows the internet better than you? Who, I actually think there is something, it is funny, it's hilarious, and that's huge, right? Because what do white people love more than their whiteness is their money and power, right? So, and money is power. And there is something so deeply powerful about that. It actually can upturn, and they know that. Now that the master's tools are being, right? And so there is something so profoundly important about that. And the thing is, I think, was it Margaret? I know it was Margaret Mead, and I'm going to screw up the quote, but never underestimate.
Never doubt that a small group of concerned citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has.
It is the only thing that ever has, right? And probably what started as a joke or a lark turned into something that could be powerful. Like now we need to be creative. We being those who don't want this unsustainable oligarchy to continue on the planet, which is killing all of us, to get these inroads, right? And so I think it is powerful, and I think using humor, Reddit, I can't understand Reddit, and it gives me a headache a little bit. I've tried. I can't, and I love that it's there because it's clearly making an impact. So I hope that this continues, and however we need to resist, those of us who want liberation for all of us, all beings on the planet, let's do it, whether it's on Reddit or Facebook or Instagram or whatever it takes, because this is how we're connected in the time of the pandemic, right? This is what we have until we are back together. So I am, yay, thank you for bringing that up, Amy. I love, when did I start editing my profanity? I know I figured we hit the limit today. I was about to say a lot of things. But yeah, that's another thing we need to do a show about profanity, and Netflix has a whole series on the origins of cursing, but the idea of whether or not it's professional.
Happy. It's
What?
1 o'clock, friend.
Oh shoot, I could go on and on. I'm gonna be quiet.
I
Okay.
can tell you had leaned back and everything. Your arm got comfy, your shoulders bent down. I was like, she don't know what time it is. She don't even know. She done went to a whole nother place.
Humor worked. See, humor worked. She is relaxed and ready to keep going.
Oh, we need to stop now, Amy. So, because I'm not like the other kids. So having said that, we want to thank you for watching The View. As always, we have no clue what's going to happen next week, but we want you here. We love you and hold you in our hearts dearly. Be safe wherever you are. Thank you, Reverend Amy and Cat Dippy. Bye, everybody. We love you.